Okay, welcome back, commissioners. Almost just a second. All right, welcome back, commissioners, and welcome to our next group of partners. We are diving into economic development now, and I believe that I'm going to kick this over to Sean for an introduction.
Yeah, I won't spend a lot of time introducing the very well-defined topic of economic development, but I do just want to start and acknowledge everybody that's at the table right now. So I'll go ahead and start with Steve. Just want to introduce yourself.
Steve Kelly, Economic Development for the EDC and the Chamber.
Hi, Bonnie Lowe with the EDC.
Adam Courtney, KU Innovation Park.
Dana Mullis, Baldwin City Chamber of Commerce.
Dave Hill, Baldwin City Economic Development. Dave Hill, Baldwin City Economic Development.
Kevin Kelly, Peasley Tech.
Christina Edwards, KU Small Business Development Center, and also mother of son who's going through sleep regression. So forgive me.
Okay, well, with that, Sean, do you have any more to
No, I
introduce?
just want to make a comment that I think everybody at the table is in various forms involved with the county in economic development. I did start off with a little bit of a quib, but I do want to acknowledge the work that's done within this space, which is really focused on both workforce, entrepreneurship, tax base, increasing the tax base, and again, a lot of other things. This is a really evolving field. I want to put it that way. And a lot of good work goes into everything that I've listed and more. So I just want to acknowledge everybody and the work that they do, and also appreciate there are several supplemental requests that are in your books. So at this point, I would just turn it back over to the commission to ask our partners questions.
Thanks, Sean. All right, commissioners, we have 5 different supplemental requests from 5 different partners that are here with us today. Anybody have one top of mind that they'd like to kick us off with?
All right. Yes. So Adam, I saw that in your request, it said that the pilot program is currently under legal review and that the board of directors was going to take a look at it in the May meeting.
Yeah, so that was at the time we submitted the application. So now our board has approved it and we've submitted it to the county, and it's on the agenda for this evening for review.
And so moving forward, I was just kind of hoping that maybe you would give us a little bit of an overview today so that the public, anyone that's listening and anyone in the audience could hear you talk a little bit about it.
Yeah, and so we tried to address the concerns and comments of the commission about mature companies and contributing and paying for the support that we get from the county services. And so we've tried to do that and understanding what an eligible company is. And we're trying to target companies that are more mature and could be operating someplace else while recognizing that we're trying to support companies that are at the incubation stage, pre-commercialization, pre-revenue. And so we've tried to identify what an eligible company is versus incubation phase. And so we laid out the criteria there and then came up with the county appraiser a schedule of those fees based on other pilots in the community as well.
Chime in with another question for Adam, because I know there have been some cuts from the county in the past. Can you talk about what impact that's had on services? Because you also have a supplemental into Restore.
Certainly. And so over the last, I think, 5 years, we've seen about $110,000 cut from the county's funding. And so as we look across that lifespan, we've tried to increase our services and continue to service the community that we support, startups, entrepreneurship. We've over that time period gone from 7 full-time employees down to 5. And so we really look at that county, city, university support to fund the operations, which includes the staffing. And so the rent that we get from companies supports the facilities and operations of the actual assets there. But we really look to our community partners to support the services that we provide. And so, we're trying to do the best we can with the resources, but we have seen a rollback, and we'd love to go back and hire some of those positions to fill some of those gaps that we have in services and continue to expand our services.
Any other questions for KUIP commissioners?
And we get another chance to talk with them this evening, so people can dig in there further.
Yes, indeed. I have a question for you, Christina, for KUSBDC. I really just wanted to give the opportunity, since you're a bit of a newer partner directly with the county, and appreciated seeing reports on the work that's been done and how you think that $15,000 can help you. It sounds like pretty substantially expand your reach and services. So can you just paint in the picture a little bit for us in the public about kind of what the daily work of these dollars that the county offers now provides and gives your staff ability to do, and what kind of increase and impact you think this $15,000 supplemental could help with?
Absolutely. So our goal at the KU Small Business Development Center is to do great work and help people, which is our entire mission. Over the last 5 years, we've consistently seen more and more clients each year. Last year was just under 550 or in that range. And that is us working directly with small business owners. And so we have 3 full-time business advisors. I fortunately, and in some cases, unfortunately, wear 2 hats as a director and a business advisor. We also have a part-time business advisor. And this year, actually, we partnered with the University of Kansas School of Business to get an intern, which will be a continual thing, where we'll be bringing an intern from the MBA program, which is really exciting because that's where I came from. So our secret sauce is really to connect with business owners one-on-one. We provide individualized, free and confidential business advising support to both new and existing businesses. So we help with all different stages of the business life cycle and cover a number of different topics, from business planning to accessing capital to leveraging resources like the Innovation Park, the Chamber, Peasley Tech, et cetera. So we're that one-on-one partner in their corner. We typically see businesses around 6 to 10 hours as an average, but obviously it ranges. So we definitely have an indefinite relationship with business owners. But one of the things that's tricky is capacity with just 3 business advisors to support 500 businesses and deliver meaningful support. I also recognize the current economic climate throughout the country. It's going to be difficult to be able to add an additional advisor. So we've been really working over the last couple of years to get creative in terms of how can we automate some of our administrative tasks, which just so happened to be the least favorite aspect of my job, to spend less time on that and more time directly with business owners. The other thing that we've been working on is developing high quality educational materials in multiple formats for business owners, which is part of my supplemental request. I think one of the value adds of the SBDC is to be business advisors is our end all be all. We're trained in that. We're federally required to meet certain qualifications and receive ongoing training. And our federal contract is focused on supporting small businesses directly and small business communities. So when we're developing material for business owners in video format, document format, also guided worksheets, that's not just influenced by the topic that we're discussing. It's influenced by a decade of me personally doing this work as well as my team. It's thousands of business owners at this point. It's their languages, it's the patterns, it's the little nuances that we discover. And so I'm very proud of some of the materials that we've built because they're really making things thoughtful, but thoughtless for business owners, because business owners are doing everything by themselves and there's no one direction that's fit for them. And I have to be careful because I love doing this work, so I can go on. And so we're trying to develop things that can help them maximize the value of their different activities, whether it's marketing, whether it's setting up an accounting system, without them having to do that work or struggle through it. So part of the supplemental request will be enabling us to continue that, continually provide and produce more of those things. And then part of what we're doing is sharing that with community partners. So any economic development entity is welcome to our resources, as well as just like general organizations, because we want to expand the capacity of our knowledge. And so we want this to be something that others can leverage to share with their business owners.
Thank you. Any other questions for SBDC about their supplemental request? Not that we can't come back. I'm just, sometimes it's helpful when we have so many partners around the table to stay on one at a time. If not, Commissioner Willie, it looks like maybe you've got somebody else to queue up.
I'll take a new one. Sorry, Baldwin City EDC. Dave, thank you. Let me get the right number. So you have a business incubator space, and I was curious about that because I'm not sure where it is. And then I've got some other questions that might be more specific to you.
Yes, yeah, we have a business incubator in downtown Baldwin. We lease a building from the city of Baldwin, and then we sublease it out. We have 2 tenants now, have room for 1 more, and that's worked real well. We've done that about 5-6 years. Not having a lot of turnover, maybe you know what I'm talking about. It's hard to get anybody to move out, but we've had really good luck and a good experience with it, and it's been nothing but great. And we've had 3 tenants at one time, but now we're 2, and all we have is a extra empty office right now. Anyway, so that's our business incubator.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
You also talked about the sale of tax credits as part of what's been funding the EDC, and then will help fund the supplemental request that for the child care center. How does that work, and how did that get started?
Well, Network Kansas has been a great partner or asset for the state of Kansas and especially Douglas County. And we've been selling the tax credits through Douglas County e-community. And it's been just a great thing for us. I'd say we've been doing this for 6-7 years, and we have accumulated about $1 million by doing this. So we are selling quite a few tax credits, and I just take it year to year. You never know when that might change. As far as their philosophies or policies, but so far we've accumulated a lot of money, and we've set that back for childcare. And as noted in the package, we're looking at about a $2 million project for childcare. Right now in Baldwin, we don't have anything that's what I'd call, we have some in-home facilities like 5 or 6, but Rainbow Preschool is our only real childcare, and it covers 2.5 to 6-year-old children, has about 45 children in it. And we have a real gap for newborns to 2.5-year-old. So we don't have any coverage there that's in a professional environment, I guess you'd say. And it's creating a problem for us. I mean, I know that's what drew it to my attention was when we started having employees drive to another town to take their child for childcare, then come back and go to work. It just seems like people driving 80 miles a day for childcare. It seems a little excessive. So I thought we could do better. So we're looking at a building this building we're looking at is about 8,700 square feet. We've broken into 2 phases in case we can't do both. Phase 1 is about 4,500. Phase 2 is 4,200. We're getting our bids. We'll have our bid packages going out next Wednesday. We hope to have bids back by the 15th of August, and then we can make some real decisions. But phase 1, we estimate it'll come in about 1.3 million. Phase 2 will take it up to about $2 million. So assuming that we come in at about $2 million, we've raised $1 million. We've got a loan in place for $500,000. that would be serviced with our tax credits. So we're going to hope that they continue, obviously. If they don't, we've got investors that'll cover it. And then yes, the ask today is 500,000 to fill our gap. It's a one-time ask. It's a big ask, I understand, but it does fill the gap and helps us get that $2 million building. And our objective as Baldwin City Economic Development is, yes, we'll own this building and we're going to lease it to Rainbow Preschool, but we're going to do it at a nominal fee. We're not trying to recoup our investment. We just want to cover repairs, maintenance, yard, snow, and insurance. And
In terms of like definite construction costs and such, you'll have those in the near future, but you don't have them yet because we have 2,235,000 kind of in our supplemental request, but I recognize these things change fast. So
yeah,
I guess I'd just be curious for, as you have more information about costs and like the two phases, that's helpful to know that phase one.
we're
might
having
be
to
more in the
bid
near
3
future.
different ways. Phase 1 will be one bid. Phase 2 will be a second bid. Phase 1 and 2 will be a second bid. The third bid is going to be building phase 1 and then enclosing or putting a shell around phase 2 so that all we have to do is finish the interior, if that makes sense. So, if we can handle it for, $1.5 million, that if we can get a bid under that number, then we'll go with phase 1 and put a shell up, meaning the building will be built, concrete will be in, it'll be plumbed for utilities, but we won't have the interior finish. We'll have to just do that at a second.
And you have land already?
We have the land
identified?
donated, so we've got 3 lots. We went through all the replatting process. They were donated to our entity. So we've had quite a bit of local support.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
When you think about the impact that this will have on the community, can you tell us a little bit about, because you did mention that you have employees or community members that are driving about 80 miles currently, so that's quite a lot. And so if this were to be funded, can you tell us a little bit about the impact that it would have on the community?
Yeah, the building that we're proposing would do about 45 newborns to 2.5-year-olds. And so we think that's a good number for us. And then that's what we've already got in service at Rainbow Preschool now. And Rainbow's been around for 55, 60 years, so they're pretty established. We're real excited to have them. We couldn't do this without an operator, and they are the operator, and they're just really well managed and have an excellent reputation. So, and we just know that, obviously, I don't know what people are doing between newborn and 2.5, but from 2.5 to 6, we've got good coverage or adequate supply. So we're real excited about it. We do know that we have a lot of people, driving Ottawa, Lawrence, Gardner for childcare for newborns. And that's where I see most of our employees going, is to Gardner. They're driving to Gardner, dropping a child off, just 20 miles, coming back 20 miles. That's where I get the 80 miles. It's unbelievable to me.
And then will Rainbow have capacity to grow their population, the number that they're actually able to serve in the future?
I wish we were growing, but we're really looking at serving what we've already got. So we're looking at about 85 capacity.
Okay,
Yeah, total.
in the future.
Total. Well, this total, I mean,
Okay,
phase 1 would be 45. And I'm going round numbers. Phase 1's 45, phase 2's 40, 45, whatever it is. I think probably a little less on the phase 1 because of the ratios, I guess you'd say. But yeah, I don't think we're building it. It's pretty sad when $2 million doesn't overbuild, but we're building kind of what we need today, we think.
okay, but then I think you said 80?
Yeah, we'll have 80 total.
80 total.
Yeah,
Okay, thank
80
you.
total. Or maybe 85. I can't remember the number, but I know we're pretty much going to be at Rainbow's capacity, what they're already operating with. And they've got a lot of experience in that range. So I don't know that we want to be aggressive and promote that much growth with childbirth rates being down. But just the newborn's the big thing that we're trying to get coverage for.
And that is the current need that you have
Oh,
in
yeah.
Baldwin right now?
Yes, yes,
Okay,
yes.
all right. Thank you.
Thank you.
I had a question with the community support and the minimal lease fees. Is it possible for Rainbow to keep their rates at a reasonable rate to where people can afford it?
Yeah, we're not looking, I shouldn't speak for them, but they're very good operators. And their leases, their rates are very reasonable, I think. And And I've kind of coached or counseled them annually. I meet with them to talk about, we've helped them get into a building. Actually, the building that they're in now, we helped them set up about 10 years ago. And we've met with them every year since, because they used to be in every church basement. And then after 8, 10 years, they'd get a new basement, and at some point we'd made a decision as a community that, hey, someday we're not going to have a basement and then we're going to be out of childcare. And so we really pushed to help them get into, they bought a church building and they've, renovated it, made it work the best they can. And I'm not saying, I just think we can do better than the facility that they have. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with it, but we can do better as a community. And we're entirely letting them, they own their building outright. They've got good cash reserves. And what I tell them is that is their security and assurance that they're going to be in business. And so we're not looking for them to put any money into this project because we want them to have cash reserves, because if you go through another COVID, we need them in business. So they've offered money, but we just don't, the only thing they're going to provide for this new facility is the playground equipment and the furniture and fixtures. So we're really just not interested in their couple $100,000 that they can contribute, because we need them to be in business day in, day out. And we're hoping that by having minimal rent, that they can pay a good wage to their employees so they can have retained staff, because, we all know turnover is very costly. So we want them to pay as good a wage as possible. And that's important to us. And then we want them to be profitable, and because that's how you stay in business.
So I was going to ask about what their current, and I know, they're a provider that's not here, but since you are working so closely with them and know the status quo and the trajectory they're on, I was curious what their current physical location was, whether or not I guess my question is twofold. One, is it purely space that is an issue for them to be able to meet that need of the newborn to 2.5-year-olds that people are leaving the community for? So is space the only issue? And do you know whether or not I guess, is this considered an expansion of their footprint in Baldwin City, or a replacement of their footprint?
Well, it's a great question. And they're currently occupying an older church with one level and a basement. And the basement is where most of the children are. And it's very cramped on space and access, I guess you'd say. It's not ideal. And when I look at the rules and regs that we're working under to put up a new facility, the space they're occupying now is pretty cramped and small, and we're putting them into 4,500 square feet. That's going to have, bathrooms in every classroom and access doors out every classroom, and just built to today's standards. And I'm not sure that what they have today meets those standards, if that makes sense. So I know we're getting them a better, safer environment. And so it's going to be more space, safer space. And we really start out, our mission was phase 1, and that was all we were really trying to do. And we got halfway through that, and they said, oh my gosh, we really want to move the whole thing over to be easier to manage from a labor standpoint. And they could probably also see how nice it was going to be. And we originally were going to keep them separate, but always have a plan to add a phase 2. And they asked us halfway through if we would do the phase 2 now. Okay. And we're like, yes, we will, as long as we have the money.
So the ideal scenario is that they're moving completely into one space,
Right.
one location.
Right.
And then I guess the follow-up to that is they have the staffing capacity now, or will be able to fill the staffing capacity for
Well,
grades?
they got the staffing capacity, obviously, for their 2.5 to 6-year-old. They'd already hired somebody to manage the newborn to 2.5, but I'm trying not to get them too far ahead, because it's going to take a year to build.
Got it. Okay. Yeah, I just wanted to make sure that
And
they were tracking both things, that a
Baker's
capital investment.
Baker's very interested in what we're doing, and we're going to be talking to them about staffing, because they're very interested. They need the services for their staff, but also they hope that some of their students can be working over here.
Got it. And then to bring it back to EDC of Baldwin City specifically, I heard you say before that the intent is that this building is will be owned by and stay as an asset for EDC with nominal leasing for the operator. You have an operator lined up, and they're obviously a big part of this, and things could change in the future. So will you talk to us a little bit about how the EDC is thinking about structuring the agreement in terms of owning this and whether or not the intent is to keep it as a childcare facility no matter the operator?
It's a great question. We plan to own it, get it built up, get it leased out, but in due time, we hope to deed it over to Rainbow Preschool. And when we do deed it over to Rainbow, we intend to file a 30-year mortgage on the property, and we'll cancel 1/30th of the mortgage every year. So we really we can't raise the money twice for the project. So we don't really want to own it. We're just doing this to get it going. We want Rainbow to own it in time, like I would say after 1-2 years of knowing that they can make it work. If there's going to be a problem, we'd rather deal with it ourselves. But if we think if things work out like we anticipate, then we want them to own the building. And we are not looking to recoup our $2 million investment. We just we would like to put a mortgage on the place so they can't go out and mortgage it and risk losing it, or sell it and risk losing it. So we can't afford those things. So we were proposing a 30-year mortgage and canceling 1/30th of the mortgage every year.
Got it. That's helpful. Thank you.
So first of all, I want to check, is one of your contributors to the project the city of Baldwin?
No,
Okay,
no.
okay.
It's been, we've sold the tax credits for the $1 million, and my son donated the 3 lots.
Okay.
And no, we hate asking them. I mean, we know their budget's tight.
Okay. And then I know, Dave, you've done a lot of great work on the EDC and sort of defining roles for EDC, the EDC, chambers, and governmental agencies. One of the things I think this request does is it sort of opens up a new area for us. We have funded childcare in the past, but it was done with federal grant dollars, federal one-time grant dollars. So with your work in the EDC and with the Baldwin EDC, how are you thinking, what's your thinking about alignment with economic development priorities and how cities and counties should be involved in that work?
Good question. We looked at it economic development wise as supporting our workforce. And really the real simple thing is, if some of these people don't have childcare, they're not going back to work. And I know one time I was asking one of our employees, I said, she was about to have her baby. I said, "Who's doing your childcare?" And she goes, "I don't know." And I'm like, wow, I guess she might not be coming back, But so we looked at it as we're doing this to support our childcare. And we talked to all the big employers in our community, whether it be Baker or our manufacturing community. They all have the same problems with childcare experiences, so to speak. So we're doing this representing our business community, you might say. And I wouldn't normally put it in the wheelhouse of economic development, but it is definitely workforce is what we think. In other words, we're hoping to keep people working by having childcare. So that's why we took a project on. Sure.
My question is for Dana. All right. Dana, can you talk a little bit about your request and what you kind of hope to achieve?
I'm going to actually use some notes because I just need them. Okay, so my request is for a one-time $10,000 supplemental request in order to help the chamber stabilize the programming that we're trying to build for our community. Over the last time I was here to see you guys, the chamber work was split between 3 people. That has changed, and it's now just the 2 of us working, me on a part-time basis, and we have 1 full-time person. The capacity that we have is very limited, but I think that we really focus, and our board really focuses on ways to connect our community. And one of the biggest ways that we've been able to do that is through our Be Well Month of Wellness. I did talk about this last year, and previously it was just a one-day Be Well event. This last year, we've created a full month of programming for Be Well. And what that's done has activated all of our healthcare and wellness resources in Baldwin City and connecting them directly to our community. So people who have health and wellness issues, they miss a lot of work sometimes if they don't have access to those resources. We're connecting our community to those. And while people may not think a chamber and health and wellness go together, I do think that there is a link between economic development and health and wellness. When people feel good, they go to work, they're productive, they stay at work, and they're just happier people. So that's kind of what we're trying to build. Also in the last year, we've really cut our spending. Not that we had like a lot of extra spending anyway, but we've kind of taken a page out of Dave's book and we've opened up some of our office spaces as incubator spaces. So the chamber has 4 offices and 2 of them are currently leased out to micro business, small business people. So that's kind of helped us stabilize in a way. But the ability to grow the programming is hard to do when we're fundraising. We're spending a lot of time fundraising, and that really impacts our ability to provide a really great program.
And if this were to not be funded, how do you think it would impact the work that you're doing with the Be Well program?
Well, I don't think that it won't change the commitment.
Okay.
It will change the momentum. So last year I guess it was this year, bringing it back to a full month, we got a lot of great response and a lot of activation from our partners, but there's the need to build. So like marketing, advertising, vendor participation, getting those things up and running and in a way that they can become self-stabilizing.
Thank you.
Any other questions for Baldwin City Chamber? Okay. How about EDC of Lawrence and Douglas County? We've got a supplemental from them. Go ahead, Commissioner Lee.
I'll just generally, is the structure of the EDC changing? I know there've been a lot of meetings and decisions, and can you talk about that and how that dovetails into the request?
Thank you for asking, Commissioner. If I could take a moment, I want to thank you all for your past support. You all have been amazing. And our partners here, I'm very proud of them all. And Christina and her team at KU Small Business Development Center does an awesome job. And thank you, commissioners, for your funding of partially funding our Diversified Douglas County program in excess of $100,000 a couple of years ago. Christina and her team set those applicants up for success. In addition to being on Peasley board and supporting what they've been doing, Kevin is currently our EDC board chair. Appreciate him being here representing 2 organizations. We have 2 other EDC exec committee members, Kirsten Flory and Mark Gonzalez, who are in the audience. Thank you for being here. Baldwin EDC has been very supportive of our Rising Together capital campaign. We appreciate that, and we support them, of course, as well. Dana, I think you talked to somebody in our team recently about how we can be collaborative and supportive of your chamber. So great job with that. Very proud of KUIP and the pilot program that they're presenting also on their board. So having said that, yes, we've had quite a few meetings and changes in bylaws this past year talking about the EDC structure, the Chamber Economic Development Division and how they complement each other. The $50,000 supplemental request is for direct EDC hire, and spoiler, we're going to be asking the city of Lawrence for an additional $50,000. We're in the quiet campaign for a capital campaign for the next 5 years, which would also support that directly elected position. The EDC has certain goals that is some of the shared services under contract now with the county and city and our capital campaign, but the EDC doesn't cover all of those goals currently in place with the Douglas County. So there's going to be other economic development work being done and partners. There would also be shared services with this position to support HR, administrative work, communications, and advocacy. So the 2 organizations work very closely together for the betterment of economic development in Douglas County. Did I answer your question, Commissioner?
And the new position, what will they cover that's not covered currently?
It's an addition to and a more robust position. Primarily business attraction and expansion. There's going to be a little bit of restructuring in terms of reporting. Better communications will come from that as well. Did I miss anything, Steve?
Thank you.
So, I appreciate you saying it's going to be more robust. What might we expect as a return on the investment when we think about what's being done so far? You reported lots of engagements and lots of business contacts. What, with that kind of investment, what might we think would happen because of it?
You know, Steve may be better equipped to answer this, but in terms of business attraction, we work with partners, Kansas City Area Development Council, Kansas Department of Commerce, to look for leads and partner with them with different opportunities. I'm thinking of FAM tours where we bring site consultants into our community, maybe more travel to do one-on-one with some of those companies who back in, I don't know, quite some time ago, and Steve would have a better history on this. The companies may reach out to communities or counties in general, and now they go through site selectors. So instead of engaging with hundreds and hundreds of different companies, you really engage very strongly with consultants and site selectors, and so have a better one-on-one communication with them. And Steve has quite a Rolodex, to use an old term, with these site selectors and people we've worked in the past. So I see a more robust opportunity that we can fill for our county.
So is the amount of staffing we have currently doing that work not meeting the demand? Is that what you're saying?
Steve, you want to jump in here? We have 2 full-time people, and then some of us work part-time in addition to our other duties, and it's a lot. It's a lot in addition to communications and the other HR and advocacy programs that we do.
Yeah, and I think it's not a matter of, is there more than can be done? It's how well can you do it with the time that you have? My primary focus is on the recruitment and working with the companies that are looking at significant expansions, which are also competitive and most of them actually are using consultants and instead of the local staff. So that's a big part of what I do, but I'm also working on a lot of it with Josh, supporting Josh on the initiatives on entrepreneurship. We are, for better or for worse, kind of the general catch-all for all sorts of questions about, I want to add some space into business. Is there any resources? And because I do have some background and know some people in the space, we're looked at as a resource to help identify and locate potential funding or support. And so my days are, the majority is the recruitment or related to that and retention expansion, but every day has other duties as well. And so I think this would allow, as is being developed, would allow more focus on those specific kinds of things and maybe a little bit more concentration in that area that isn't happening now or could be boosted anyway by a little bit more dedication and specific focus on that.
Where would that person office out of?
Yeah. The plan now, I think, would be to remain in the chamber. One of the issues is going to be cost, and we have space there. We have the ability to get the support services from existing staff, communications, and all that. So I think right now the plan would be to at least start there. I think funding is going to be a challenge. And so to the extent that you can not duplicate or replicate the resources that are already in place, I think that's probably to our advantage, at least starting out.
I had a question. I'm not used to seeing negative fund balances. How do you have a negative fund balance?
There's, with the economic development funds, because there's governmental funds and private funds, they're set in a separate account. So if we have any surplus from the previous year, they carry forward to January 1st. So that's what some of these funds, we have a little bit of surplus, I'm going to say $20,000 to help with some of those funds. If we can find economies of scale, particularly with a supplemental request, we anticipate being in the black. Good question, though.
As we think about economic development and integration across the county, you just mentioned office space. Would uh, would our teams consider integration and officing our economic development teams, maybe, I don't know, out of Baldwin? I heard you say, Dave, that there's an office in the incubator space in Baldwin. So I don't know, since Baldwin has an EDC, if there would be an opportunity for both EDCs maybe to office out of a similar space. And then that's an opportunity for thought leadership, for, I don't know, maybe better collaboration across the county. I know we don't have an EDC in Eudora, so I just want to kind of ask that question and see if there's opportunity there as we think about growing across the county, growing into other areas, and just building economic development across the county.
Thank you for that question, Commissioner. Absolutely. And because we work very closely with our partners and also within Eudora, as you mentioned, we're very proud of the work that is done across the county. I guess we're looking at a job description now and would hope to have somebody in place maybe Q1 of next year. And so there's a lot of work to be done until the end of the year. Somebody in this position will not be in the office a lot. They'll be traveling to other places in the county, other places in the state, other places in the nation doing that work of attraction. So you need a home base, and at the chamber with the shared services, with admin, advocacy, communications primarily, having that opportunity seems to be great in terms of maximizing dollars, as Steve had mentioned. But absolutely, but this is not you're going to sit down at 8 o'clock and you leave at 5 o'clock. You're out in the county and other places doing the good work of attracting businesses. That's how I envision it.
You know, I do think that there would be a possibility of establishing hours in Baldwin, Eudora, maybe Lecompton, where there's a certain period of, maybe it's the afternoons of Tuesday or whatever it might be. This is just, kind of talking through it as we're, developing as we're flying the plane here. But I think that would certainly be a possibility where there would be scheduled hours in the other communities so that people who had an interest beyond what was already kind of scheduled, we're working with developers all the time, but other people who are interested in having conversations or maybe identifying, learning about resources, I think that would be a possibility certainly to have some set hours in the other communities around the county.
I didn't watch, but last night, did the city contribution to EDC come up in the budget meetings?
It's very broad-based now for economic development funding. There wasn't any level of specifics that was discussed last night. And we haven't seen any numbers, and we haven't given them a proposal yet. This is coming a little bit later this year, which is typical of last year.
Kevin, I'm going to ask you to switch hats a little bit here from Beasley Tech to the EDC chair. I know there's been some conversations about EDC and the chamber and the relationship between those two, and sort of a talk of whether it's a mutual agreement or how that works. Can you and Bonnie kind of give an update? I know that's sort of in play right now. We have a meeting in July on that as well. Can you give us sort of where that's going right now?
Well, what we have right now is really kind of formalize the relationships that have been, existed for a long time. They're partner organizations. One really depends on the other, and vice versa. But there's some proposals. I've one at the EDC to formalize the relationship in an MOU, and we'll go through that at the EDC, and then we'll submit it to the chamber for consideration or modification. So I think it's really just documentation of a long time existing relationship. And there have been other documents, and I mean, there are other contracts and arrangements. This is just kind of the next phase of the relationship, I think.
Can I jump in real quick? Thank you, Dr. Kelly. Appreciate that. Absolutely. The scope of services with the county, as with the city, as with a Rising Together capital campaign will continue. Formalizing that a little bit more, as Kevin mentioned, is in the works and will be in place, I think probably within 60 days, well ahead of beginning of the year. But what we propose to you and what we've done in the past, that work 100% will be done. It's just formalizing who does what. But at the end of the day, we haven't lost sight of what needs to be done in our county and the best way to get there. And because we have great relationships with everybody, it makes that job a heck of a lot easier.
Any other questions, commissioners? Okay. Seeing none, thank you all for being here. We appreciate your time this morning and in preparing these requests and the work you do in the community. And I'm sure we'll see you around soon. Have a good rest of your day. Commissioners, since we've got a little bit of a buffer here, I think I'm just going to give us a 10-minute break and we'll hop back at 11 o'clock with our scheduled partners for that.